Speciale South Africa in proud association with Change Cars. Change Cars is a trusted online website because they work with trusted dealers and the best insure in South Africa, Discovery Insure. Welcome back to Speciale South Africa. I'm Nicky Nash as always, and today you guys join me in this beautiful green Alfa Romeo Tonale. This is our first Alfa on test, so I've been looking forward to this vehicle, and I'm going to tell you every single thing you need to know about this car, from the interior, exterior, the drive, and my recommendations. Stay tuned. So jumping straight into the car, I'm gonna speak about the exterior then the interior. So the exterior, the car looks amazing. Literally, I think it's one of the most beautiful test cars I've received. It looks so good, it attracts so much attention, and this one, of course, it has the coachy stickers on the side, so it writes car of the year finalist. So it looks good. It attracts a lot of attention. I like the front and the rear design of the vehicle. When jumping inside the interior of the vehicle, the car looks good and it feels good where I am. So where I'm sitting, the seats are so comfortable to a point where you forget that you're in like an SUV vehicle, because it drives so well. But I'm not gonna speak about the drive just yet. Just the interior feel of the car, and it has a start-stop button here on the steering wheel, so it makes you feel like you're in a racing car, if that makes sense, or in a supercar, because of those nice start-stop button. Yeah, so you do get, so for someone like me that jumps into in and out of cars every week, you do forget that the button is here. Then you start looking anywhere else where like other chase cars would be. But the car interior looks good. One thing I like about the interior, more or less the infotainment system, is how the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto hooks up. Literally, when you get in the car, when you start the car, literally 5 seconds, 10 seconds, Apple CarPlay pops up. That's when you've paired the vehicle. So every car, all the time when you get into the car, you don't have to go faff around the infotainment system and say Apple CarPlay connect. No, by the time you get into the car, boom, your Apple CarPlay pops up. And I love that about the car. It's very quick. The infotainment system is good. It's not laggy one bit. And there's everything you need to know about this car. You need to faff around the infotainment system. And speaking about the faffing around the infotainment system, let's say I'm going to speak about the drive of the vehicle. So this car, it took me 4 days to realize that it has auto hold, because the auto hold is within the infotainment system. Unlike VW and other manufacturers, their auto hold is next to the handbrake. So where the handbrake, where the electronic handbrake button is, just behind it, there's an A, so for auto hold, or it writes auto hold in many other vehicles. And this one, I needed to faff around in the infotainment system, and that's something I didn't like about the car, because I genuinely thought the car didn't have an auto hold, and I was gonna say that in a review, and you guys were gonna have me. So yeah, I think that's a place where Alfa could have done better, because as a driver, why am I driving things within the infotainment system? I do not like that. So more to the driver car, looking at the engine of the vehicle, you're looking at a 1.5 liter hybrid engine. So the car is a hybrid, and I'll touch more about the hybrid just now. So the suspension feel, the car drives so good. So it has 3 modes. It's called DNA in Alfa. It's called DNA. So the D stands for dynamic. So when you wanna do your twisty bends, your acceleration pulls, you put the car into dynamic, and it'll dynamic, And then the N stands for natural. That's like normal mode. And then the A is advanced. Advanced for me, that stands for eco, because you do feel the cuts power slightly, and then the throttle input is not as aggressive as in when it's a dynamic and the likes, So more to the hybrid, right? I was gonna speak about the hybrid, because the hybrid is something that I don't like in this vehicle. Because, for example, you start the car, it'll be quiet for a bit, and then it'll kickstart the engine, and then maybe if you're driving, the most you can do while driving on battery alone is 20 k's. Like I'm in hybrid now, 20 k's, it kicked in. Like when you literally drive from 0 to 20, by 20 the engine kicks in, and maybe when you're slowing down, it'll drop down to hybrid for a bit. When you get on the accelerator slightly again, it'll go back up. So it's not I don't want to misquote myself, but for lack of a better term, I'm not too sure. It's not like a full hybrid, if that makes sense. And let me explain. Full hybrid for me is how I had with the Haval Jolion HEV and the H6. Those vehicles, like I did the speeds of close to 100 k's just on battery power alone. and then after that the engine kicks in. With this one, it kicks in. I'm in EV mode. EV. I hope you guys can hear. EV. There's 20. Engine just kicked in. So I don't like it. I'll try get a video where I'm showing you what I'm talking about. So I don't like that because for me it feels like a mild hybrid, you know, because it's not giving me the hybrid that I know, like the hybrids that like the Haval get so good, and so I've heard the Toyotas get the hybrid power so good. So I don't like that about the hybrid vehicle, but it does assist in terms of the fuel efficiency. So the hybrid does assist here and there, you know, so you need to get used to it. And the way I see that it helps with the fuel efficiency. So fuel efficiency of this vehicle, the claim fuel efficiency is 5.7 liters per 100. Unfortunately, I was not able to get that. I was averaging 7.6. 7.6 was the lowest I saw. That was on highway cruising, cruise control at 110, adaptive cruise control, and the lowest I saw was 7.6. And then city run around, day-to-day driving, 8.1 is where I was bouncing at. Between 7.9, 8.1 is where I was bouncing. So the 5.7, maybe you could get there, but I doubt. So that's with regards to fuel efficiency. The hybrid does assist. Without the hybrid, I would definitely know for a fact that this vehicle would be averaging around the 9. And going back to the engine, for me personally, engine, you're looking at a 1.5 liter which produces 118 kilowatts and 240 newton meters of torque. Just those figures alone, it does sound enough, but not for this vehicle because of the size and the magnitude of this vehicle. So I personally, and on top of that, it has the hybrid batteries sitting at the back under the rear seats and all that. So the car is heavy, and you do feel that the car needs a bit more of a kick, you know, more of a push. So I don't necessarily like that. So overseas in other markets, let me say, for like a better term, they get a more powerful engine. It produces above 180 kilowatts, and I personally wished Stellantis, Alfa Romeo, could have brought that into South Africa, because those one you do. It's not every day where I would get in my car and I'd be like, I want more power. But in this vehicle, when I'm driving, I do feel that I want more power. But when you're driving the way I'm driving right now, it's fine. You'll get the job done. But when you want to give pull flat, you know, see, I'm flat. And then, so, yeah. But I don't want to say the upside, but what I can tell you about the engine is that it does take time to get to speed, right? But it will get to speed. You get what I'm saying? So I've spoken about that. Now time to speak about the 3 things I like, 3 things I don't like about this vehicle. Then my recommendation. And you guys know how I do this side. I always start with the bad. And so the first thing I don't like about this vehicle, it has to be the engine and the hybrid combination, because it's not like I explained, it's not the hybrid I thought the hybrid would be, you know what I mean? So I don't like that because it's part hybrid, and obviously the engine being, it needs more of a kick. That's something I don't like about the vehicle. The second thing I don't like is where the gear lever is. Yes, the gear lever, it's a hard gear lever. Like it's so when you're changing from P, R, N, D and D, N, R, P, it's like back and forth. It's hard. It's hard. I don't like that about the car. Could have been softer. That's something I don't like about the vehicle. And the third thing I don't like, it has to do with the tailgate. So the tailgate is electronic, perfect, love that. But the boot button to close, right? For you to close that, you'll be seeing overplay videos right now. You need to press harder than expected, you know, because if you can press the button like that, like that, it will not close. You need to press harder for it to close. I don't like that about the car, because there's times where I've been pressing, doesn't close, then press harder, then it closes. And that's the things I don't like about the vehicle. 3 things I like about the vehicle. Number 1, it has to be the party piece of this vehicle from the interior, and it's the Harman Kardon sound system that this one is fitted with. It's amazing. It's one of the best sound systems I've experienced in a vehicle. That's the first thing I like. The third thing I like about the car is the overall look of the vehicle from the front and the rear. It looks very beautiful. The third thing I like about the car is the interior. The interior feels good. It looks good. It's a very nice place to be, with the whole sporty steering wheel. You get these aluminium finished collar mounted pedal shifters, which give you the sporty feel of the vehicle. So I like that about the vehicle, and just how the whole infotainment system is displayed. So now on to my recommendation of the vehicle. Obviously, you know, those 3 important questions. Do I like the car? Would I buy the car? Would I recommend the car? 1, do I like the car? believe it or not, yes, I do like the car. Would I buy the car? Believe it or not, no, I would not buy the car. As much as I like the car, I wouldn't buy it because pricing you can get 800,000 rand. But I'll speak more about the price in my recommendation. And would I recommend the car? Honestly, for the amount of money you pay for this vehicle, I would not recommend it alongside any other vehicle in its price range because of literally what I just said in the review. But I would recommend it if you came to me and said you're an Alfa fan and you really want the Tonale because it looks good. You just want something to get into the Alfa range in terms of SUV. You don't want the Stelvio, you want the Tonale. I would recommend it because it is a good car overall. It is a good car. It's just that obviously me with the terms of the engine and all of that is just where my downfall is. But at the same time, it's not a train smash to a point where I'd be like, nah, don't go buy the car. I would. Same thing with me. If this car landed on my doorstep, I would still drive it every day because it's a good looking car. And when you don't drive spiritually all the time. So in terms of recommendation, yes, I would recommend it to someone when the car is just alone. But obviously when you pin it against other vehicles in the same price brackets, that's where things become very challenging for the vehicle. So now the price. So there's 3 model variants, right? There's a 1.5 hybrid Ti, or 1.5 hybrid Speciale, the one I'm in, and then there's a 1.5 hybrid Veloce. That's the top of the range. So the Ti starts at 739,000 rand, so 740,000 rand for that one. For this Speciale, and it's a special edition, I think, and I'll explain, it's 800,000 rand on the dot. And then the Veloce is 20,000 rand more, so it's 820,000 rand. So the one I'm in right now is a once-off, if that makes sense, a special edition into the country. So apparently, because I went to the dealership to understand the differences between the models, is that this one, only 40 models of the Speciale came to South Africa, and by the time this car was launched, 20 of them already sold. So, and here's the confusing part of things. So the Speciale is cheaper than the Veloce, which is the top of range, but the Speciale gets 20-inch rims. The Veloce, which is the top of the range, gets 19-inch rims. So it doesn't make sense. It makes sense, doesn't make sense. So it's a bit confusing because obviously you're watching the review right now. If you're looking to buy a Tonale, you're gonna be like, oh, I like the spec that Nikki had on test. And by the time you would wanna buy this vehicle, there's a high chance that this car will not be for sale unless you find a demo model. Like the dealership I went to, there was the exact same color as this one, parked outside as a demo vehicle. Brand new, it would be very hard to find this vehicle, according to the salesperson that told me this. So it's a bit of a, and also the pricing of the vehicle, you're playing very high into competitor prices. So 739,000 rand for an entry-level Alfa can get you something so good in other brands. You can get there's likes of the Kia Sportage, but also what I'm comparing the vehicle to, it's not necessarily direct competitor, because where Alfa is kind of putting themselves into the premium segment, so that's why the pricing. But I've said a mouthful. The video is getting too long. You guys are getting distracted now. But I hope you guys did like the content, and I hope to see you on the next video. And from South Africa, I'm Nikki Nash, and I'm signing out.